I think that any success to a greenhouse is to work on it a little bit every single day. Whether it's watering, whether it's transplanting, whether it's planting seeds, dealing with your seedlings, or just your plants itself. So doing something a little bit every single day helps your greenhouse to be a success. So every day I've been doing something in here, whether it's watering. Yesterday I was transplanting lettuce, I was transplanting broccoli. Today I'm going to be working on transplanting cauliflower. Now these containers, I actually, maybe some of them I bought in the past, but I picked these up at Lowe's and they were free. Well, I don't know if they're free, but I do know they're on the section of a cart that they're going to throw out, and I take them to the desk to check out and they never say anything. So this helps on my expense as far as growing. So working on the greenhouse a little bit every single day, especially if you're going to be planting a lot of seedlings, it's best to work on it as the plants grow. As you see, they need to be transplanted. Now I work from 162 cell, and so that's a lot of plants, but I usually don't plant exactly 162 cells. I plant my variety, I skip a row, and then I plant another variety. That helps me to know exactly what's going on within that tray, but at the same time, if the plants jump up, it gives them enough space for growing. So this is my 162 cells. A variety of seeds planted here, and as you can tell, I put a blank little tag there signifying to me there's nothing in the cell. Will all these come up? Some seasons they do, and some seasons they don't. These are the broccoli that I transplanted yesterday, and then this is the cauliflower. Now what I do with this, say if it's got a 2 or 3 into the cell, then I'll gently take it out with a little stick here, a little popsicle type stick, and I get it out, but then I take my scissors and I nip off, or either I can gently pull apart those little seedlings there and then transplant them. So yesterday, most of these, so I was pulling on those roots because the roots are very small. I just took some little shears and cut one of those plants off. Now it is kind of hard to do that when you look at plants. If you're a gardener, it's for some reason it's kind of hard to do, but you know, it must be done. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to transplant these little seedlings here, how I get them out of the cell, and how we get them ready for growing. So I like to use a potting mix that has plus fertilizer in it. Most time I'll just fill this container up, take it over here, any debris falls into the bed, and then I start transplanting my little seedlings. Or I'll take and go ahead and fill up all these little cells. Well, they are cells, little containers here. I started out using Dixie cup, it worked wonderful, and but as gradually I've been using those for going on maybe 3 or 4 years, maybe 5, and so they eventually do wear out. These are more sturdier than those, but those right there would definitely work. They definitely work. So I fill up my container. Then what I like to do is take and make a little valley right there, so that that's already done when I get my seedling ready to transplant in here. So I'm going to take my little popsicle stick and I'm going to go to the edge and lift it up, and now we see we got our little seedlings out. There's 4 of them in here. Definitely one of them I'm going to sacrifice, but if I was going to transplant these, it's starting to form roots really good, so I want to gently pull these apart. It doesn't have much roots. In my experience, it's just that if I go ahead and get them out like this, they won't get leggy, and the roots are starting to form, and then that way I can go ahead and get them in the pots, and the roots can go down, grow down, and grow, and then it's less transplant shock. Especially when we're into a season that the weather is not being as cooperative, like we got a storm going on today. So if I wanted to put these 2 in here, not pull them apart, then I'm just going to take some soil, and usually I have this setting down. Try to set it down, have that seedling, 2 seedlings in there. Have that seedling in there, or 2 seedlings. I'm gonna mash that soil around it. That's getting out the air pockets. And since there's 2 in here, I don't want 2. And I'm gonna just cut one of those off. So I'm gonna choose which one I want. This one's bigger. Sometimes I always sacrifice the bigger one and leave the little one. And I'm gonna cut that head off. And now we got 1 plant. And I won't put these over here with the broccoli. I'm gonna set them over here so I won't get confused. So I'm gonna set them into my tray, my cell tray. And now we have this one right here. It's got 2. Once again, we're just going to take this, and there's a little one there. There's a little one there, so we're going to sacrifice that. And what I do when I have a little one like that, I just lay it down, that little plant in there. I'm not going to cut it off. I'm just going to cover it up. Take a little bit of soil, make sure that little plant's covered up. That way it can go ahead and die. I hate that word. I hate that word when it comes to plant. So now we got that ready. When we have all these transplanted, then we're going to take a mixture of light fertilizer and we're going to give them some water. They was watered yesterday. The soil is moist, but it's not too moist. Now really we could go ahead and leave these like this because the soil is moist, and this has got fertilizer in there, but I'm gonna lightly get some light fertilizer to go ahead and start pushing these plants, make sure they're getting enough nutrients from this soil, make sure they're getting enough to grow. Sometimes these roots grow faster, sometimes the roots will be hanging out, but we can see that the roots are starting to form, they're starting to go down into these cells. So these cells have holes at the bottom where it can soak up water, and it's shaped in a way that these roots don't get tangled around one another. Get that air pocket out. You see how big this container is. It's not small, so now the roots have got plenty of room to the day of planting. Whether the weather is not going to be right at the time of planting, then these containers will hold this plant to be able to grow properly. So I took some of the cauliflower and transplanted it over here into the bed. And I gave it a light fertilizer. The soil is damp from yesterday. I tried to space them out. You see that algae? It needs to be ruffled up. but that's because this bed's been sitting here with nothing in it. So I gave it a light water. And what I do is that when I water it, since the plants don't have much root, they're tender, I just try to hold a leaf right there and then water it, because not it'll fall down. So we have planted 36 little seedlings here of early snowball cauliflower, lacking 2, so that will be 38. So we started another bed, and I might put those other 2 down here or just put them into the little pots. They didn't have much root. I like to transplant when they don't have much root. It seems like they don't get as much transplant shock. Of course, you'll have to keep it watered. Natural sun is a must for little seedlings. The sun, the warmth is a must. But if I don't have the natural sun, as you can tell, there is no sun, and we go through seasons that is just not proper sun, it seems like the seedlings will just sit there. So this morning I'm giving them just a little bit of light, because we're not going to have any sun today. We haven't really been having much. If we had the proper sunlight, say the warmth, temperatures around 70, 75, 80, you know, somewhere around there, or say 60 into the greenhouse, nice and warm and sunny, then the seedlings would be a lot bigger. This is green magic broccoli that was transplanted yesterday into a raised bed. The soil will dry out very quickly depending on the temperature. With these being seedlings, I have to make sure that these seedlings stay moist, because it doesn't take very long for seedlings to die. It just don't take very long at all. One day and they can die. So these haven't been fertilized. So what I'm using is Performance Organic right here by Miracle Grow. It's 1133, excuse me, start over. 11.3, not 33, 11.3 and 8. The first number is the nitrogen. Plants like this, they're leafy and they need the nitrogen. That's how I get my plants to really grow, is that I make sure this first number is high enough, because of it getting the nutrients to make this leaf pop. Now that I've watered it just a little bit, this one's really tiny. So here on out, these must be watered every day, as long as the soil is not soggy. I don't want to, you know, saturate it where it try and kills the plant, make it have a root rot. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. This is how I get all my plants into the greenhouse and into the garden. Very seldom I'll buy a plant unless I'm having a problem, because plants are so expensive. So imagine if you had 36 plants and you went out and bought 36 plants. Well, sometimes you can get them for like 6 into a tray. Still, you're spending $6. So you save money by having patience, have a little bit of patience, and you can get all the plants that you need. So I love it when I see these plants just take off and I see that I have good success. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on to the next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And like I said, I'll see you on to the next video. Happy gardening!